Buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy.
How can you truly enjoy the meal unless you know the flavor? Welcome back, ABL fans. This is Big Earl, your trusted voice in Action Baseball League analysis, coming at you with our 22nd installment of Deep Dive 25. Watch your fingers, because we're about to slice, dice, and dissect all the nuances of this great league. A salute to the sports writer at the New York Daily News for your straightforward and no-nonsense reporting. Your clear-cut and unambiguous approach in covering the team resonates strongly with your readers. Okay, ABL fanatics, let's do this. Whether it's the Eastern powerhouses, the Central workhorses, or the Western wildcards, we're covering it all. See it for yourself. The New York Aces, a cornerstone of the ABC's Eastern Division, characterized by a veteran squad and a front office adept at navigating the fine line between financial prudence and competitive edge. With a seasoned pitching roster and a batting lineup that finds strength and teamwork over individual prowess, the Aces stand as a testament to strategic gameplay and the art of maximizing resources. Keep an eye on them. The Aces have the experience, leadership, and tactical acumen to make significant waves in the long haul. If you're one of those folks who can't get enough of the nitty-gritty, the ins and outs, the ups and downs of ABL baseball, then this deep dive is for you. It's like opening a box of Cracker Jacks. You never know what treasure you're gonna find. Grab a slice of iconic New York pizza and feel the rhythm of the bustling streets, because we're delving into a team as dynamic and vibrant as New York City's famed skyline and the melting pot of cultures that define this urban jungle.
Question 1. How does the owner's personality and negotiation style influence the team's culture and performance?
The Aces mixed bag, a team built in the owner's economic image, but saved by a legendary GM. Look, let's cut to the chase. The New York Aces are a riddle wrapped in a dollar bill, thanks to owner Alberto Dominguez. The guy's as average as a hot dog at a ballpark, but has an eye for extreme profit. He's no high roller, just a stern-faced businessman who's not aiming for the stars, just a mediocre .500 season. But don't lose hope, Aces fans. You've got a GM in Jeremy Burke who's a bona fide legend. This guy's the glue holding this operation together, juggling egos and talents like a circus ringmaster. And don't forget pitching coach Kurt Brown, the unsung hero who's cooking up schemes that could make even the best hitters whiff. But with a hitting coach preaching patience, don't expect fireworks at every at-bat. Bottom line, with an owner focused more on his pocketbook than the pennant, this season's gonna be a coin flip. It could go either way, but one thing's for sure, it won't be boring. How's that for a hot take?
Question 2. What roles do the front office and coaches play in the team's success or struggles? Are they aligned with the owner's vision?
Aces brass, a tightrope walk between profit and performance. Listen up, ABL aficionados, the New York Aces are a paradox, a tightrope act between a penny-pinching owner and a legendary GM. Alberto Dominguez wants extreme profit. He's not exactly Babe Ruth pointing to the fences. But GM Jeremy Burke? The guy's a wizard, capable of turning water into wine, or at least turning a budget roster into contenders. The coaches are in on the act, too. Kurt Brown's a groundball guru, focused on a cost-effective defense, while hitting coach Matt Brown is the Yoda of patience at the plate. But don't overlook the wild cards in this deck, other coaches like Anderson and Boyd, who could either blend well or create a dugout disaster. They're all dancing to the owner's frugal tune, making this a season where the Aces could either surprise everyone or flop like a fish out of water.
Question 3. How does the team's financial health reflect in its performance?
Aces financial playbook, all bucks, no bang. Listen up, folks, here's the blunt truth about the New York Aces money game. They've got a payroll of over $7 million and a budget that tips $11 million. Sure, they're raking in the dough with season tickets, but look at that fan interest, sliding down like a greased pig on a water slide. Bottom line, they've got the cash, but not the flash. Dominguez's extreme profit mantra makes sense when you see that fan interest plummeting. The guy's hoarding cash for trades like a squirrel with acorns, but what's it getting him? A stadium that's 90.6% full and a fan base that's losing interest faster than a kid loses patience. The Aces better start delivering on the field, or they'll be drawing more flies than fans.
Question 4. How has fan interest evolved over time, and what does it mean for the team's revenue and player acquisitions?
Sliding fan interest, a warning bell for the Aces' wallet and roster. Alright, listen up, ABL fans. The New York Aces have a payroll north of $7 million and a budget of about $11 million. That's respectable, but don't start planning the parade just yet. Why? Because fan interest is sliding faster than a crooked politician. Dipped down to 76 from a high of 94 in 77. Season ticket sales are strong, but the stands are at 90.6% capacity. Looks full, but that's money left on the table. Bottom line, the Aces have the cash, but they're losing the crowd. And if you're not careful, today's empty seat is tomorrow's empty roster spot. Are the Aces in a financial squeeze play?
Question 5. What is the current mood among the fan base, and how could it impact the team in the short term?
Aces fans, the 10th man on the field or a sinking ship? Here's the deal, ABL nuts, the New York Aces fans are in limbo. Fan interest has dropped faster than a knuckleball, down 4 points in the last month to a middling 76. They're showing up to games, sure, but not packing the house, only 90.6% of seats filled. Call it cautious optimism or maybe just caution. What's it mean short term? Expect lighter gate and merch revenues. That's fewer dollars for trades and signings, especially with an owner laser focused on extreme profit. And don't discount the mood in the dugout. A lukewarm crowd won't fire up anyone. The front office better watch their step. Every move is under the microscope now. This is a make or break moment for the Aces folks. Wake up or watch the slide continue. Are these fans just fair weather or is there a storm brewing?
Question 6. How is the team faring in the league standings, and what factors are contributing to their performance?
Aces, in the hunt or just pretenders? Here's the deal, the New York Aces are sitting at 11-8, which ain't too shabby with a .579 win rate. They've scored more than they've let in with a run differential of +12, no small feat, but they're a bit shaky in the clutch, with a 1-3 record in one-run games. Those nail-biters can make or break a season. And with a strength of schedule, SOS, sitting at a less than intimidating .471, one has to wonder if they've been feasting on lightweights. They're decent at home and break even on the road, but with a recent 2-game losing streak, the warning lights could be flashing. In short, the Aces have some muscle, but they're not without a few cracks in their armor. Could go either way, but they better tighten up if they're serious about the long haul.
Question 7. What are the team's odds of making the playoffs on a divisional and conference level?
Aces postseason outlook, flip a coin. The Aces are teetering like a diner's first cup of Morning Joe, potentially satisfying but could spill any minute. With a 38.1% shot at clinching the division and a 45.5% chance at a wildcard playoff berth, they're flipping a postseason coin. Those aren't numbers that'll have the bookies shaking, but they show the Aces have a fighter's chance. Every game's a battleground now, each win a step toward October glory, each loss a stumble in the dark. It's a tightrope walk in a gusty wind for these guys. They could land on their feet or take the fall. It's all in the game, and the Aces are playing for high stakes with an even deck. Roll the dice or fold. The fans are all in, but it's the Aces' game to lose. How's your poker face? Buying in on the Aces' odds?
Question 8. How do base runs and ELO ratings paint a picture of the team's true strengths and weaknesses?
Aces' middle-of-the-road metrics. The Aces are sitting on the fence with a run differential that speaks to competent, if not spectacular play. 91 runs scored against 79 allowed paints a picture of a team that's got their act somewhat together, but they're not setting the world on fire. The base runs show they can hit and pitch decently, yet there's no sizzle to this steak. And that ELO rating of 1495? It's a lukewarm nod from the number crunchers, signaling this team isn't quite a powerhouse. They're a smidgen below average, a team that'll make you cheer but not scream. They've got the makings of a contender, sure, but they're lacking that killer instinct. The Aces need to kick it up a notch, or they'll be destined to fade into the middle of the pack. The ball's in their court to prove the math wrong. Do the Aces have it in them to defy these numbers and break out, or is this as good as it gets?
Question 9. What does the team's WAR indicate about its most valuable players?
Aces WAR, no heroes, just teamwork. The Aces WAR tally clocks in at a collective 4.5, neither a headline grabber nor a sob story. It's a figure that speaks to a roster punching in a solid day's work with a batting WAR edging out pitching by a half point. These aren't the numbers of a team riding the coattails of a superstar, they're the hallmarks of a squad where everyone chips in. The Aces are that blue-collar team, each player bringing his lunch pail to the ballpark and contributing his part. But here's the rub, stars win games. The Aces batting lineup might have a bit of thunder, and their mound presence is steady, but without a standout player stepping into the spotlight, they risk being just another face in the crowd. In this game, it's the heroes that make history. So, the question for the Aces as they chart their course through the season is simple. Who's going to step up? Does this team have a hero in its ranks, or are they still waiting for someone to grab that mantle?
Question 10. How have injuries impacted the team's performance and depth?
Aces health, a clean bill with no excuses. The Aces injury report is as clean as a whistle, a lone player on the DL with a minuscule $7.7 thousand committed to injured salaries. This isn't just good fortune, it's a golden opportunity. In a league where the DL can often look like a MASH unit, the Aces are the picture of health. But here's the catch, with the whole squad essentially intact, their middling performance is all the more glaring. No injury scapegoats here, just a raw reflection of a team that's yet to hit its stride. It's a rare chance for any team to flex its depth, yet the Aces are hovering, not soaring. So the question becomes, if not now, when? If they can't capitalize while the injury bug is biting elsewhere, doubts will fester about whether they can handle adversity when it's their turn. The clock's ticking, and Aces fans are waiting for that surge, the one you expect when you're playing with a stacked deck. Is this team squandering its good luck, or just biding its time?
Question 11. What do the team's batting statistics reveal about its offensive capabilities?
Aces at the plate. Contact over clout. The New York Aces are putting the hit in hitting with a team batting average of .279, a sign of a lineup that's more about finesse than sheer force. Their .365 OBP tells a tale of patience and plate discipline, while a slugging percentage of .396 whispers of a power outage. Sure, they've got a few homers, 15 to be exact, but with a modest isolated power of .117, they're not exactly the Bash Brothers. This is a team that'll single you to death before they go yard on you. With a WOBA of .355, they're efficient, but with a BOBIP of .324, are they riding a wave of luck that's bound to crash? They don't strike out much, which is good, but they're not walking to the promised land of home plate often enough either. It's small ball in a league that often rewards the long ball, and whether that's enough to sustain a season-long campaign is the million-dollar question. The Aces are playing a tight game, but whether they can keep stringing those hits together when it counts remains to be seen. Do you bet on the steady singles or fold in the search for a power surge?
Question 12. How does the pitching staff stack up against divisional and conference competition?
Aces pitching, a balancing act on the mound. The New York Aces are throwing a 3.52 ERA, but let's not throw a parade yet. The under-the-hood numbers, a FIP of 4.39 and xFIP of 4.35, are hollering that there's trouble in paradise. They're outperforming their peripherals, and not by a small margin, with an ERA FIP split that's like finding a worm in your apple, unpleasant and indicative of hidden problems. Their strikeout rate is as intimidating as a kitten at 14.4%, and their walk rate isn't exactly keeping the bases clear either. The pitching staff is managing to keep runs off the board more by luck than by pure skill, with a BOBIP that suggests hitters are finding their pitches a little too comfortable. As for leaving runners stranded, they're doing alright with a 75.5% LOB percent, but that's like saying your leaky boat is fine because you're still afloat. Ground balls are hitting gloves at a decent clip, but when balls take flight, they're clearing fences at an 8.7% clip, which isn't exactly fortress-like pitching. What we've got here is a pitching staff that's neither the knight in shining armor nor the court jester. They're just part of the royal procession, for better or worse. They'll need to tighten up those walks and find a few more strikeouts to truly contend. Are the Aces pitchers going to find their edge, or are they a wild card best not bet on?
Question 13. Are the team's fielding statistics a strength or a weakness?
Aces fielding, a leaky ship with some solid planks. Here it is, plain and simple, the New York Aces are playing hot potato with their fielding. That total ZR of -2.15? It's a red flag, a flashing neon sign saying, "Fix me." But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Defensive efficiency is a respectable 0.693. They're making outs almost 70% of the time when the ball's in play. Errors? 13. Unlucky, but not a disaster. Double plays stand at 16, showing they can turn 2 when it counts. Outfield assists are decent, and the catchers are like Fort Knox when it comes to stolen bases, with a 75% caught stealing rate. In a nutshell, the Aces have got a fielding problem, but it ain't all bad. They've got some planks that could make a sturdy ship if they just plug the dang leaks. There's the lowdown. Got a wrench for those holes?
Question 14. What do base running stats say about the team's tactical approach?
Aces on the base paths, high risk, low reward. Here's the skinny, baseball fans. The New York Aces are rolling the dice on the base paths and coming up short. 10 stolen bases sound good until you see they've been caught 7 times. That's a measly 58.8% success rate. It's like a gambler who thinks he's on a hot streak but is actually bleeding chips. And don't even get me started on that weighted stolen base, WSB, number of minus 0.25. It means they're not just failing, they're hurting the team. Sure, they're getting on base with 70 walks and 19 hit by pitches, but what's the point if you're not capitalizing? Bottom line, the Aces' base running is more reckless than tactical, and it's costing them. Is this base running strategy a hit or a miss?
Question 15. Who are the standout performers in batting, and what do their stats reveal?
Aces batting aces, the real deal or flash in the pan? Alright, strap in, ABL diehards. The Aces have got some lumberjacks swinging the wood. Jonathan Mestas, 30, is the showstopper with an OPS of 862 and a WAR nearing 1. The guy's a utility knife, doing it all from the center field spot. Then there's Raul Juarez, 25, batting a hefty 320 with an OBP of 395. This kid's not just knocking on the door, he's busting it down. And don't sleep on Peter Maltka. The guy's got 0 dingers but an OBP of 418. He's not the steak, but he's the sizzle that gets you to the table. The Aces batting core is a mix of power, patience, and good old-fashioned baseball IQ. If these guys keep swinging like this, pitchers are gonna need more than a prayer. Are these Aces bats as good as gold? Or fool's gold?
Question 16. Who are the key figures in the pitching staff, and how do they influence games?
Aces mound maestros, seasoned pros, and promising young guns. Listen up, ABL faithful. The Aces are packing heat on the mound, and it ain't just for show. Let's talk Pablo Magana, the 36-year-old wizard with an ERA of 1.84. Sure, the FIP suggests he's had a helping hand from Lady Luck, but who cares? He gets outs. Mike Gemmell, another grizzled vet at 36, sports a respectable 2.60 ERA. Not too shabby for an old-timer. Then there's Tony Oubre, 30, with a WAR of 0.82. Talk about an arm you can bank on. Last but not least, Noor Durrani, the 26-year-old rook. His 3.45 ERA and 0.48 WAR say he's learning fast and holding his own. So, whether it's wily experience or youthful exuberance, this pitching staff's got it. They're no fluke, they're built for the long game.
Question 17. Who excels in base running and fielding, and how do they impact the game's outcome?
The Aces' silent game changers, Mestas and Marquez, lead the way. Look, folks, baseball ain't just about the long ball and the Ks. Sometimes it's the guys grinding it out on the base paths and in the field who tilt the game. Take Jonathan Mestas, this 30-year-old is a double threat. For stolen bases and a glove that doesn't quit, you better believe he's keeping the other side guessing. Then there's Pedro Marquez. The guy's 36 and still a wall at third base with a zone rating of 1.306. Don't overlook Robbie Chacon, Jerry Nunez, and especially Pedro Marquez, either, all perfect in the steal department. These guys might not grab the headlines, but they're the ones swinging games in the Aces' favor. You buying what I'm selling on these Aces X Factors?
Question 18. What does the team's age demographic reveal about its experience and future potential?
The Aces' aging roster, win now or bust? Listen up, baseball aficionados. The New York Aces are no spring chickens, they're more like Thanksgiving turkeys, seasoned and ready for the big stage. With a major league average age hovering around 30.48 and a pitching staff that could qualify for an AARP discount at 32.37, these guys are built for the here and now. Sure, the AAA batters are pushing 30, which raises an eyebrow about future talent. But don't write off the farm system just yet. AA and Single A are brimming with youngsters raring to make their mark. Bottom line, the Aces better capitalize on their seasoned vets while they've still got him. Time's not on their side. Is it boom or bust for the Aces?
Question 19. Who has had the best batting and pitching games, and what do these performances signify for the team?
Aces glimmers of greatness, game changers or one-hit wonders. Let's cut through the noise. Robbie Chacon swung like a sledgehammer against the Stallions, racking up a game score of 65 with 3 hits, 3 RBIs, and a homer. Shame the Aces couldn't capitalize, losing 6-9. But don't sleep on this guy. He's got the kind of bat that can ignite a lineup. Then there's Pablo Magana, who was nothing short of a maestro against the Patriots. The man chalked up a game score of 83, dealing 8 innings of shutout ball and striking out 5. Magana's the kind of arm you want on the mound when the chips are down. These aren't just good games, they're statements. The Aces have got the fire. The question is, can they keep the flame burning or will they fizzle out?
Question 20. What does your gut tell you about this team in the 1981 championship season and the Grand Tournament of Champions?
The Aces' championship aspirations, now or never. Listen up, ABL fans. The New York Aces are a powder keg waiting to explode. They're sitting comfortably in second place in the ABC Eastern Division, but don't be fooled. This team's got eyes on the top spot. Pablo Magana and Mike Gimmel are steering this ship with veteran savvy, while young guns like Robbie Chacon and Jonathan Mestas are providing the fireworks. But let's not sugarcoat it, their high payroll screams urgency. It's win now mode. As for the Grand Tournament of Champions, I wouldn't bet against these guys. They've got the muscle, the mettle, and the mastery to go the distance. But let's be real, injuries or lack of clutch performance could throw this whole operation off the rails. It's high-stakes poker, and the Aces either go big or go home. Are they contenders or pretenders?
Question 21. What is the team's history in the Grand Tournament of Champions?
Aces in the G2C, a saga of triumphs and tribulations. Listen, the New York Aces have a history in the Grand Tournament of Champions that's as up and down as a roller coaster at Coney Island. They got their teeth kicked in by the St. Louis Stallions in '72, but didn't let that keep them down. Bounced back in '73, took a faceplant in '75, and then hit the jackpot in '76, clinching the Grand Championship. But hold the champagne, got slapped around by the Houston Mavericks not once, but twice. What's the takeaway? They've got the hardware from '76 to show they can be the big dogs, but they've also got enough setbacks to fill a blooper reel. They're consistently in the mix, which means they're always a threat, but they've got some ghosts in the closet, especially when it comes to Houston. Does this history make you want to double down on the Aces this year? Or hedge your bets?
Question 22. What is the team's history in previous seasons?
The Aces' historical tapestry, decades of hits and misses. Look, the New York Aces ain't no flash in the pan. These guys have been hammering it out season after season. Peaked in '73 with a 104-58 record, but choked in the conference championship. Won it all in '76, but couldn't sustain the magic. They're usually a tick above 500, make the playoffs more often than not, and even when they're down, they ain't out. Their ERA and batting averages show they're not one-trick ponies. Fan attendance? Peaks when they're hot, drops when they're not, no surprise there. They've been opening the wallet more, with a current balance of over $7 million, so they're playing for keeps. Last couple of years? Decent, but no cigar. This year? Off to a strong start, leading the division. The bottom line, the Aces are a solid franchise with the bucks, the talent, and the history to make a run for it. But history also tells us they can stumble when it counts. Are they gonna soar or nosedive this year?
Question 23. What's your take on last season?
1980 Aces, the year of the lukewarm dog. Here's the skinny on the New York Aces' 1980 run, a flat 500 season with an 81-81 record. Talk about middle of the road. Finished third in their division, 9 games back, which makes them spectators, not contenders. They even fell short of their expected 84-78 record. Batting average? A yawn-inducing 248. The ERA was decent at 3.52, but you need runs to win games, folks. Spent over $8 million on payroll and got what? A season as exciting as a lukewarm hot dog. Fan attendance still decent because, let's face it, hope springs eternal. They missed the postseason, again, and no new shiny hardware for the trophy case. Financially stable? Sure. But in the win column? Just average. As for 1981, well, it better not be a repeat of this snooze fest.
Question 24. How does what happened in the 1980 season reflect on the 1981 early campaign?
1981 Aces, a redemption arc or just deja vu? Listen up, folks. The Aces are off to a hot start in '81, but let's not forget the stale bread that was the 1980 season. Sure, they're hungry for redemption, and the fans are cautiously optimistic. Financially, they're solid, so no fire sale of talent. Team's been together, so chemistry's no excuse. Coaches had better make tactical tweaks, or they're just filling seats. Early lead in the division? That's pressure, baby. Now they're the target, not the hunter. Got any new kids stepping up? Better hope so. Mental toughness? A fast start suggests they got some grit. And hey, a winning team means butts and seats, which helps the bottom line. But can they keep it up, or will they go back to their Mr. Average ways from last year? That's the meat of the matter.
Question 25. What is your take on the current roster?
1981 Aces, Gems and Glass Jaws. Alright, let's cut to the chase. The Aces are a mixed bag in 81. On the mound, Oubre's the real deal, Magana's overworked but brilliant, and Gimmel's reliable. Durrani's doing okay, but Martinson? A disaster waiting to happen. Bullpens hit or miss. Don't even get me started on closer Devin John's tightrope act. In the dirt, Wheeldon's a star, Maltka's solid, but Marquez and Chacon better find their groove. Outfield? Mestas is the man, Juarez the sidekick, but Frisson and Nunez need a wake-up call. Lineups? Too dependent on a couple of guys. An injury to Casillas spells trouble for the already shaky pitching staff. Bottom line, the Aces have some serious talent but glaring holes. They're walking a tightrope, and it could snap any moment. Well, there you have it. Your up-close and personal deep dive into the New York Aces. We've dissected their strengths, weaknesses, and everything in between. We've peeked into the owner's suite, dug into the dugout, and even scoped out the fans in the bleachers. And let me tell you, what a ride it's been. Like a well-pitched game, we've covered all the bases. But remember, baseball is a game of unpredictability. Just when you think you've got it figured out, it throws you a curveball. The New York Aces, a squad that's dashed around the bases with the highs and lows of a Coney Island roller coaster ride, making significant splashes in the regular season only to find themselves riding the waves of unpredictability come the G-to-C. Will this be the year they solidify their legacy and take the grand spotlight, or will they remain the enigmatic, yet always compelling act in the ABL's thrilling saga? The Aces' tale is far from over, and the next chapter promises to be a page-turner. Big Earl here, folks. Keep your eyes peeled for future reports as we navigate through the twists and turns of another gripping ABL season. So, whether you're a fan of the Aces or just love the game, the best is yet to come. Until next time, this is the game. See it for yourself.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
See it for yourself.
How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world? You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.